Sherry G. Welcome to my channel. Please, if you haven't done so, hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because I will be back. Keep in mind that all of the views expressed here are of my opinion. Everything is alleged. It's for entertainment and learning purposes. I really appreciate you all for stopping by my channel. Today is going to be a little bit different. So Mel was selected. She was nominated and selected to win a Viewee Award on Chef Don Don's channel. He has this little thing where they're awarding the different reality stars for different things. And so one of them was the Momma I Made It award, and Mel won that award. And I want to talk about that because, I was happy she won, but it also reminded me of the phrase she coined, God said go. So I want to talk about that. But before I do, I was seeing on YouTube, like there's been a lot of discussion about the Tim Norman case. And so I decided, let me go ahead and see what's going on, what's happening. I mean, I knew that he was on trial and everything, but I wasn't really keeping up with it like every day and reading, all the latest news until today. So, and I was shocked because today was his sentencing day. So Tim Norman, if you don't know who he is, he was a reality TV star, and he was featured on the show Welcome to Sweetie Pies, which was on the OWN network. And he was there with his mother and his nephew, Andre, and he allegedly hired someone to murder his nephew in 2016. And so they actually had found him guilty, and then his sentencing trial was today. And I was shocked to find out that he was sentenced to 2 life sentences. I was like, oh my God, because the judge said that, it was allegedly it was an execution. I think I copied his exact. He actually said it in his words. It was cold-blooded. It was premeditated. It was an execution, and I paraphrased the words a little. But yeah, so he sentenced him to 2 life sentences, which was more than the person who actually committed the crime. So Tim hired someone to do this. He hired a prostitute to lure his nephew and someone else to pull the trigger on the gun, allegedly. And so, yeah. But anyway, what are your thoughts about that? I was really shocked. I mean, yeah, I think he should serve time. He was found guilty. He's still claiming he's innocent. But the person who pulled the trigger said that he did hire me to do this. And, everyone else who was involved, there were 3 other people involved, were saying that, yeah, it was his idea, that he was the mastermind behind it. And allegedly there was a text message that his nephew sent to Tim Norman's mom saying that, Tim is after me. So anyway, and that was shortly before he was murdered. So anyway, I thought, wow. So anyway, yes, Mel won the Momma I Made It award. And Chef Don Don actually said that she reached out to him and thanked him for the award, or thanked everyone for the award. So yeah, thought that was pretty cool. But like I was saying earlier, when I saw that she won the award, the first thing that popped in my mind was God said go. And so we know that's the coin or the phrase that Mel coined when she decided that it was time to leave her marriage, allegedly. But I wonder, how many times have you heard God say go and you didn't? You just stayed. Like you're reaching out to God, help me, help me, help me, help me. Like I'm on this ship and I feel like it's going under. And then he sends the rescue ship. You know, I'm out here, I'm drowning. He sends the rescue ship. But because it doesn't look the way you think it should look, it isn't the size you think it should be. It's not the color you think it should be. It doesn't sound the way you think it should sound. A person comes along and they say, hey, I want to help you. And you're like, I don't need any help. You cover it up, or because of who the person is, you don't want to accept help from them. So he sends the rescue ship and you let it go by, but yet you continue to drown. You continue to drown. Um, or sometimes it looks like you're comfortable. Like you're comfortable, like everything's good. To the outside world, everything looks good and you look comfortable. You say, I'm comfortable here, so I'm just going to stay here. But on the inside, you're miserable. People can't see that because you smile every day, but they can't see that on the inside you're miserable. So it's like you're wrapped in this big comfy blanket, but inside that blanket are teeny shards of glass that are just cutting away at you, cutting away at you on the inside. Nobody else knows it, but you feel it. You feel it. You feel in your soul that God is telling you, go. You feel in your soul that this situation is just not good. I'm not thriving. I feel the pain. I look happy, but I feel the pain. It could be God saying go from a relationship. It could be this career is not the career you're supposed to be in. And you feel that you're being called to do something else. But because your family expects you, everyone in the family is a lawyer. So we expect you to go to law school and become a lawyer. Everyone in the family is in the medical field. But you don't want to be in the medical field. There's something else. You want to be an engineer. There's something else you want to do. You want to be a singer. You want to be an actor, an actress, whatever it is. But everyone else in the family has gone to medical school of some sort. They're doctors, they're nurses, right? What do you call it? Respiratory therapist. Somehow they're in the medical field and they expect you to be in the medical field, plastic surgery, whatever it is. But you're going through the motions, you're going through school and you're doing well, but on the inside you're miserable. The family has a business and they expect you to take it over. You're taking it over, but you're just like, this is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to do. Or maybe you feel like, you're being called to move from your current city and you're afraid to move from your current city because your family's like, well, where are you going to go? Why are you going to leave us? Like, no, you don't have any other family there. And it could be a marriage situation. I mentioned in one of my videos that I can relate to Mel. Her story resonates with me because years ago, it was 40 some years ago, I was in a similar type situation. And I was in my 20s. I was young, but I got out. And I was told, by my family that no one else has ever gotten a divorce. And I actually said I'm going to be the first one because I'm getting out. And then there was a group of ladies that I hung around with. We were friends because our husbands were friends, if that's what you call them. But back then, because I'm like, that really wasn't a husband. But anyway, I digress. So I hung around these other ladies, and it's because their husbands, our husbands were all friends, and they were all doing the same types of things. Those ladies were like, well, at least he's home most of the time, or at least this or at least that. And I'm like, well, I'm miserable. I'm not staying. And one of the girls said, well, what about your daughter? You should stay for her. And I'm like, my daughter can feel what I feel. If I'm not happy, she can feel that. So, and then I had another friend saying, well, at least you have a husband. And I told her, well, you know what? You can have him. He'll be available soon because I'm not staying. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to go, but I was very strategic in planning it. So when I heard Martell tell Mel, well, you planned this. I get it. I planned it too. I'm like, but this has to happen. I need to do this because I need to make sure I have this, and I didn't make a lot of money back then, but I knew that I need to go look, I need to figure things out. But I'm so out of this situation. And I got out and I felt so much better. Was it hard? Oh, you bet it was hard. Did I struggle? Yeah, you bet I struggled. But I was struggling in the marriage. But at least I was free and I didn't have that extra person with me. At least I was free and I didn't have to look at this person with that resentment that I was feeling, because that energy just was not good. And that energy was just not good. And it was to the point where he wasn't working anyway. So I was pulling the weight. So, and I wasn't making that much. So it's like, if I'm going to suffer and struggle, I'm going to do it by myself. Now, eventually things got really, really good for me, because I started figuring out who I was along the way, and digging into my own personal power, discovering what they were and how I could move up. Wherever I took a job, I always moved up until I decided really what I wanted to do with my life. But how often has God told you that it's time to go, and you feel it in your soul, whatever it is, whether it's a group of friends that you need to leave because for whatever reason you've evolved past that, the point where your friends are and where you are now. Maybe you feel the call to actually leave the country, to go to another country. This career is not for you. But you're so focused on the pain. So how do you move forward when you feel that it's time to go? How do you do it? You do it by focusing on the end result. And not only just focusing on the end result and making plans to get there, but evoking the emotions of that. How does it feel? How does it feel? Like, I'm going to be excited. So being excited about it now, envisioning it every chance you get. If you believe in the vision board, put it on your vision board. But I use my imagination a lot, and I just see myself. I just see myself in my mind. I just play through the different things that I want to happen in my life at different stages. And I see myself there often, and I dream about it and write about it, and I feel the emotions of it. Feel the emotions of that thing. Is it going to be hard? Yes, but you're already suffering. So why not suffer doing the thing that you know you've been called to do, knowing that eventually everything is going to level out? Why not lean into faith versus fear? Because the only thing you're doing by focusing on fear is you're putting self-imposed shackles around your ankles and keeping yourself bound into a situation where you're really dying on the inside. And it's what I call like dead men walking. So a lot of people are just dead men walking, not thriving at all, just pretending to be happy, not thriving to be, not thriving at all. You're living fake. So you're not being true in your relationships because you're lying to them that everything's okay, and you're not being true to yourself, but you owe it to yourself. Our reason for being here is to figure out what our purpose is and then to live out that purpose. But sometimes we just get caught up in what people are going to say or what it's going to cost you. But what is it costing you now? It's literally costing you your life, right? So, when I saw that, it reminded me of the phrase, God said go. And I just see so many people struggling and suffering and living, their lives vicariously through other people, or living their lives vicariously through their children, and just trapped in situations. They're in toxic parental relationships. So you may have older parents that are very manipulative. And so you're struggling with, what do I do with this parent? And, you have to put boundaries up, but you don't want to hurt your parents' feelings, or you don't want to be seen as the black sheep by the rest of your family. But at the same time, you're suffering, and your purpose isn't to live your life for your parents. You were given life to figure out what your purpose is beyond the four walls that you live in every single day. So, yeah, I was pretty inspired by her award to actually bring this message to you today. So I hope you guys will just seek out ways if you know you feel like there's more in your life. And if you feel like there's more, there's definitely more. If you feel like you're stuck like a hamster on a wheel, just going and not getting anywhere, one of the most valuable times you could do, one of the most valuable things you can do with your time is take time away from all the noise. Sometimes that's backing away from the internet, because the internet streets are crazy, and I have to do it too. Back away from that. But sometimes it's telling your friends and your family, I'm not going to be available for X number of days or a couple of hours. Just take time with yourself. And, I like to sit outside a lot. So, and I actually like being by myself. I enjoy it. That's where I get my power from. My powers come from the inside. I am very much an introvert, but I am a social introvert. So when I go to work, like I pull up into my job and I go in and I'm excited to see my employees. They're excited to see me. Even on days that I don't feel like going to work, it's not because I hate my job. I mean, I've been there before. That's miserable. So if you're going through that, you really need to search out what it is you need to do. I mean, I know you need money, but you need to search out what your next is. Like, what is your next? Because that's a bad feeling. Pulling up into a parking lot and sitting there going, oh my God, I just really don't want to go into this place, and having anxiety about going to work the day before you go to work because I got to do this to pay the bills. Like, I've been there, and that is just not a good feeling. Now, sometimes I don't feel like going to work because I just don't feel like going to work. I don't feel like peopling. Sometimes I don't feel like peopling. But when I pull up in that parking lot and I go in, all is good. There's good energy, and my employees and I have a very good relationship, right? My boss, we all have a very good relationship. We were talking about that today. It's like, it's very much a home away from home. It's our family away from family. And we have that type of community at our workplace. So it's just really, really good. And I'm just really blessed to have the employees that I have. I'd rather fill in their shifts than have a person that brings in that energy that just grits and grinds and just doesn't work well with the rest of the team. So anyway, that's all I have for you now. Hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because I will be back. Until then, ciao.